This episode of Tales from a Gemini is with Kenny Monday. Kenny Monday, to me, he's always been a childhood hero. Growing up in Oklahoma, Kenny Monday was the man to watch as far as wrestling went. It wasn't too many African Americans who wrestle, but the ones that did kicked ass, and Kenny Monday was number one. Always been a childhood hero. Now I can honestly say he's my friend. And this episode, he gives a great story about meeting Ray Lewis and about wrestling Ray Lewis. It's a great story. Also talks about the importance of the YMCA and how it's important to the youth and growing up, and how the village people basically ruined it. It's a great episode. It's fun. Also, his new coaching endeavor at Spire Institute in Ohio. So this is a great podcast. I loved it. I know you will too. So enjoy my chat with Mr. Kenny Monday. 1, 2, 3. Hey, it's BT with Tales from a Gemini. I just love the intro. And today, we're running it back with, I can honestly say, a childhood sports hero. And now that we are able to talk, man, I was so excited last night. I was excited this morning. I posted on Instagram. I can still do it. I got the champ. I got the 3-time All-American Olympic gold medalist, Kenny Monday, on the show. Kenny, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, my man. Great to be back with you.
Man, honestly, I mean it from the bottom. I just feel like we're buddies now. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Every time you post, I post, then you reply back.
Right,
I'm like a kid.
right.
Kenny replying back. And I swear to God, it was funny.
I know.
It was Sunday night. I was in Austin, Texas for the motorcycle races. And my buddy, who's also a wrestler in high school, he's down the street from Wagner, and he was in town, and he saw me eating with this girl, like we were eating by the sidewalk. He saw me,
right?
So he came out my back to the door, which you never do. Real gangsters never do that. But he came in and he tapped me on the shoulder. And he came to the front and he got in that wrestling stance. And I swear to God, I put my fork down and I got up and I got down and we kind of bear hugged. And everybody in the restaurant goes, "Oh my God!" And then we go, "That's cool."
There he goes. Right.
That's just how wrestlers do, brother.
That's just wrestler's greeting, man. It's just the wrestler's greeting. You know, somebody's gonna grab somebody. Yeah, that's just how we do, right?
That's how
I don't care how old you are. I don't care how old you are. I'll be 90 and grabbing folks, man. I just,
That's what we do, brother.
I get a Jones after a while. If I don't grab somebody after a while, grabbing my wife, she said, "You need to go get your workout in or something." You grab it on me like that.
You're 58 and still going strong. What makes you
still grabbing?
What makes you still have that, though, man? I mean, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, what makes you still have that passion for what you do? Because a lot of people, they have in the beginning, don't get me wrong, but, through life and everything, you go different avenues. But to still have that passion to do what you do and to still elevate yourself to greatness. Mm-hmm. I mean, because I follow you on Instagram, and you still try to find new ways to elevate yourself and your game at this stage.
Yeah. Just always a student, man. And you said it right. It's just a passion. It's been a passion since I was 6 years old. From the time I started, it's never really changed, right? It's never really changed as far as my passion for the game, my passion for competition. I'm a competitor. I've been a competitor all my life, and that's one of the things. And I think part of it is when I first started, I was the smallest kid in the room. Mm-hmm. And so I was getting my butt kicked every single day, man. Couldn't beat nobody in the room, dog. Nobody, right? And I wasn't the most talented kid in that room, of course. But, my coach is like, "Man, you just don't quit. Don't quit," right? There's days where I just like, man, I didn't want to take that whooping again today. But then he's like, "Man, you just can't quit. Don't quit. Winners never quit, and quitters never win." So that kind of sunk into me, right? So I kept coming back, kept going to practice. And then I started to kind of get some breakthroughs, right? Started to get some takedowns here and there on the next kid. And then, by the end of the year, I'm beating that kid, right? So I'm like, man, that formula works. If you just don't quit and stick to it and keep working and keep believing, then good things will happen. Or you'll get some breakthroughs, right? So that's kind of where I started, man. I hadn't left it, right? So that's kind of I'm still passionate about the game for sure.
Well, you know what I want to ask you about that is that, okay, when wrestling was over and all your Olympic accolades were over, whatever, and this is where I don't know, and I'm just speculating, but did you want to coach OSU? Because me just from the outside looking in, I don't know. I'm asking you
Yeah,
now. Did you have
yeah,
you want to coach OSU and you didn't get it, and that's why you went away to where you did what you had to do? Because I know you did a little MMA, but was that
right.
in your heart to coach OSU and you thought you were gonna get the head coaching job?
I think no, I never thought I'd get the head coaching job because the way the thing played out, right? And I love Oklahoma State and what it did for me, but the way it kind of played out. I mean, John was he was a world champion before I was. Then he won in '87. Kind of started building that resume, and he won in '88. And just because his brother had been in school there, so they had some ties at Oklahoma State, and so when it kind of came down to it, I knew John was going to get the head job, and we co-head coached the 1 year when Oklahoma State went on probation and Jose got fired. But I think they were kind of leaning toward John, and I knew that, and I could have stayed. I mean, I didn't have to leave. I could have stayed and been the assistant coach. But I was just at that point, man. I was kind of ready to do some different things. I tell you what, going through that NCAA investigation and sanctions, people don't really recognize what we went through during those 2 years. I mean, it started in 1990, 1991. They started the investigation process, and man, it was such a negative thing. And so we won 89 and 90 as a team at Oklahoma State, won the NCAA title.
Mm-hmm.
And we was probably poised to win the next five. Man, we were killing on the recruiting trail. Of course, I had won, Olympic gold. John had won Olympic gold and the world championship. So recruiting was very easy. Kids were coming to us, right? And we were just flat out working everybody in the world. And so to watch Jose was a head coach at that point in time. Gave me the opportunity to come back to Oklahoma State to train, and was really good in that as far as, giving us the freedom to train and freedom we coach, but we still had the freedom to go do what we needed to do to make that Olympic team. And so he was very instrumental in that regard. So to watch Joe go on top of the world, he wins 2 back-to-back national titles, just built a brand new home. Then he gets investigated, and a lot of it was just trumped up charges, really. There was a couple of things that he did that was a violation, but it wasn't like what they said it was, right? And the way they were treating those kids, they were treating the kids that were on the team like criminals, man. They were, interrogating them and trying to make them play against each other. It was really a negative thing. This guy was from Iowa, and I think he was one of Gable's boys or something, but we were winning, and then so watching Joe get fired, and then all of a sudden he becomes a villain, right? So he goes from being on top of the world as NCAA coach, champion, to now he's fired. He just built a house, lost his house, and all of a sudden he's got to move and sell his house. So to watch him go through that, man, it put a bad taste in my mouth. It really did, as far as the NCAA and having that. I mean, because they can get you if they want you, right?
That's with anybody. That's with anybody. If they really want you, they can get you.
They can get you because there's things because the rules at that point. I mean, so small things. I mean, you couldn't give a kid if it was raining outside and we're coming from practice, it's pouring down. As a coach, I couldn't give a kid a ride back to his dorm. That's a violation. So it's things like.
So what was the violations that they said? Because by then I had left Oklahoma and I forgot all about it until I forgot it, but it was vaguely there. But what were some of the violations they said you guys did?
Well, one of the violations, I think the one that was really the most drastic one was a camp situation where Joe had camp in California, and a couple of kids one kid was already on the team. I'm not gonna say any names. One kid was already on the team. A kid from his high school was coming in next year as a freshman the following year. So that summer, the kid that was on the team went to the camp, drove to the camp in California to work the camp. The other kid that was from his high school jumped in the car with him and came to the camp with him, which was he couldn't be there. So that was a violation there. Joe gave the other kid money to get back home, right? Paid him for the camp, and actually gave him, money for the camp. And so that was that was one of the biggest violations from that whole investigation, that he gave the kid money, and he shouldn't have, because he was a college, high school senior. And then when he got back, the kids tried to kind of cover up. And then one of the biggest things is they tried to cover it up. They tried to finagle around what happened and who got paid and that whole thing. And so that's kind of where they got caught up in the whole, lying about the camp situation. So that was really the biggest thing.
The cover-up is always worse than the crime. The cover-up
exactly. So that's really, but to watch him go through that, which I know he didn't do, near what they said he did. But man, that put a bad taste in my mouth as far as college wrestling. I'm like, I never want to be in a situation where them dudes come after me. And not that I was, interested in cheating, but they want you, they get you, right? So I saw his life get turned upside down. And I'm like, man, I want no part of that deal.
Well, but if you think about back then in those days, everything was so different and was so regimented. Everything was just like this. Like you said, if a kid, back in the day, I tell people now, like my producer who's 19, I tell him back in the day, there was a thing called a payphone. And if you gave a kid a quarter, the coach gave you a quarter to call, that's a violation.
Right, to call your parents.
Yeah, that's a violation. Right. Like, sorry, we can't do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, so now fast forward to 2021, you are now the head wrestling coach at Spire Institute and Academy. Man, when I saw this, I damn near screamed my head off, man, because I'm always rooting for you, man, because, you are nothing but one of the greatest Oklahomans to come out of the state. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like I said, man, growing up in Muskogee, looking at you and what you did. When I was wrestling, my dad said, hey, you look at this dude right here. My dad told me that. And I was not listening to my dad. And man, whenever KTUL would have, a wrestling highlight, KTUL with Bob Howard and what's his name, Chris Lincoln. Oh, yeah. When Chris Lincoln, OSU wrestling, and you were there, I always looked up to you. So when you got the dedication along with Wayman Tisdale at the high school on the court. It's Tisdale Monday Court, right?
Yeah.
I was happy.
They went back and redid the court, right? Because it got flooded out. So
okay. Yes.
The first court was Monday/Tisdale Court. Yeah. They went back and redid it. So now they on this side, one side of the court is his full name, Wayman Tisdale Court. Then the other side is Kenny Monday Court. So yeah, they went back and put our full names on the court, which is really better.
And then you have your name on the street in front of the YMCA, right?
Yeah.
Dude,
Kenny Monday Place.
Look at that. In front of the YMCA. Dude, that's where I learned how to swim at the YMCA. You were killing it back in my home state. Yes. Me too. The YMCA, dude, I'm telling you, the YMCA, it almost needs to be I don't say a law, but for the YMCA was basically, I guess, the boys' club. I used to see that commercial, but it's nothing but positivity for kids. They learn how to swim. Because now, the stereotype is always black people can't swim, blah, 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 ha, ha, ha. But growing up, I didn't know that because I knew how to swim. I became a flying, I was a porpoise. Did you ever make the porpoise?
Yeah.
What was your highest rank in at swimming?
I don't remember. I know how to swim. That's all I can swim.
Listen, let me tell you something.
I don't remember the ranking. I didn't pay too much close attention to that. But I knew I can. I can swim. I can play ping pong. I can play pool. I can play basketball. I can shoot a bow and arrow. I can tie a knot.
Yes. Let me tell you something. First of all,
I got a lot from the YMCA.
First of all, I never knew how to play pool. I don't know what kind of YMCA you went to. I don't know how to play pool. But we didn't have no pool. We didn't have no pool. Were y'all running games down there anyway? What? But let me tell you something.
Bumper pool, what?
I knew how
pool,
I became a porpoise, dude. That was you were able to tread water for 15 minutes. It don't sound like much, but that was in 12 feet of water. Couldn't see the bottom, but I didn't even care, bro. I said, I'm gonna do it. I had the wrestler mentality before I was a wrestler. I had 15 minutes. Porpoise. What? And then I also remember diving into the water, and when I came up, this dude was doing a backstroke at the same time. Hit me in my lip, and to this day, my lip is still messed up from that.
Really?
Yeah.
That day?
Yeah, to that day, because it bust. I remember my lip going like this, and I was bleeding in the water, and I got up, and to this day, my lip is still messed up from that, man. But the YMCA, I knew how to blow an arrow,
what is?
Go.
Yeah, bow and arrow.
Okay, but I also remember the bow and arrow.
I won a freaking contest.
You are you serious?
Camps, summer camp.
I remember that. And I also remember playing dodgeball. I was the last one
Yeah,
there,
bro.
and I thought I was the shit. And then so
Right.
like a dummy, when they said, you know, it was half court, and then they come to like the free throw line, and so I was the last one. And so when they threw the ball, it hit that padding, and I reached down to pick it
Yeah.
up, and the last sound I heard was, and and this ball exploded on my cheek, and I remember crying, and I remember my cheek, and I remember my
Yeah,
cheek.
man. I got skills. I got skills. Right.
I didn't know how to play basketball. I just knew how to foul because I was a real wrestler. I just knew how to foul.
Dang, dude.
That's what I did.
Oh man. I learned skills. I got skills that last a lifetime. Lifetime. You know, from I played basketball, played, volleyball. I did it all at the YMCA. But what does the YMCA stand for? What does those letters stand for?
Young Men Christian Academy.
That's associated. Yeah, that's right. And so Christian Academy. So those fundamental that's kind of my foundation.
Yes.
To learn the principles of the YMCA, right?
Yes.
And so I don't know how that's what it was. And so what I've learned have stayed with me for the rest of my life. And those same principles I teach my same kids. I taught my kids those same fundamental principles of life and the golden rule, teaching people, how to treat people like you want to be treated, right? And respect and sportsmanship. All those things I learned at the YMCA and the Boys Club. I went to Boys Club as well. Those are the programs that shaped so many kids when I was growing up, man. Kept so many kids off the street and out of trouble. And those are the things that we don't see today. We don't see very many people raising their kids up in the Boys Club or Salvation Army or the YMCA, even the Parks and Rec program.
Yes.
That's a big part of it.
So
that's my foundation, man. That's those skills they'll never leave me.
Dude, it's a damn shame. I mean, you're right, man, because I go back to Muskogee now, and there's no YMCA there, and I go, that's a shame. That broke my heart like nothing else, because I go, that's where I learned. That's where I learned how to get along with people. That's how I learned, I just remember, you know how things are back in the mid-70s or whatever. So I just remember they used to take my bag, my swim bag, and take my underwear, and they would play keep away with it. Well, I got mad one time and took my bag and said bam to this kid's head and put a knot on his head. They had to call his mom. And she came because he had a knot, and I swear the knot was out of his head like this. And she goes, "That's what you get for messing with that boy." And I go, "Okay, cool." You know what I mean? And that was beautiful because she didn't look at it like, "Oh my God, you did this to my kid." She goes, "No, that's what you get for messing with him."
Right. That's right. Today you're getting sued. You're getting sued today.
Yeah, exactly. But also, and then the village people came and ruined everything. I think that was the downfall of the YMCA. Once the village people came.
I don't know how they got a hold of that whole deal. But that's my foundation. Right?
I don't want to get you in trouble, Coach. But yeah, I think the village people were the downfall. Once they came, and it kind of ruined the reputation of the YMCA. like I didn't see no Indian at the damn YMCA. I didn't see no cop. I didn't see no construction.
Right. Oh, so you mean to tell me you were never on the dance floor doing the YMCA? You never did that,
dude. Let me tell you something. I went to the Caravan on Friday nights.
I'm just asking.
Never did the YMCA. I can honestly say that. I can say that now because we're about 4 hours away from each other, and I can run. I can bicycle. But yeah, I never did the YMCA. I don't want that. I don't want that smoke. Right. I don't want that smoke, Coach.
But man, I did talent shows at the Y. I sang the Jackson 5. I did a job with James Brown one time.
What Jackson 5 song?
I Want You Back. ABC, dog. ABC. Come on now. ABC, Mike. Yeah, dude.
Well, let's talk about this Spire Institute and Academy. First of all, I'm looking it up. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm confused. Like, is it a high school boarding school? Is it what is it exactly? What is it?
That's exactly what it is. It's a prep school. It's a sports performance academy.
Nice.
Pretty much what it is. Because every student here is an athlete. So we got basketball, we got track and field, we've got swimming, and we just added wrestling, and we just added lacrosse, right? And so those are our core sports. And to tell you how this thing came to me, you're probably going to ask me the question, but Ray Lewis is the one that introduced me to this program. And you talk about being a hero and looking up to people. This story, I think I told you a story about Ray Lewis. I don't know if I told you that story. Did I tell you that story?
No.
Ray Lewis is a part owner of Spire. I mean, he has a small stake in it, but he met the new owner who purchased Spire a couple years ago. He's from Baltimore. Met Ray Lewis through a business associate. Brought Ray to Spire, showed him the whole deal, and got him involved. And Ray got here and looked around and said, man, you need to start a wrestling program.
Yes.
And I got just the guy that you need to go recruit. And he said, Kenny Monday, right? Wow. And so, I know, right? So I met Ray back in 2013 when I was coaching at the Black Zillions in Florida.
Okay.
So I was at left practice one day, went down the street to a car wash, went to wash my car. And so I see this white Rolls Royce go through the deal in front of me, right? Like, man, this is a nice Rolls Royce. What was that? I come out, once I turn my car in, Ray Lewis was sitting over at the bench waiting on his car, right?
Yeah.
So he had his head down. Right? He wasn't looking up. He didn't see me. I saw him right. I go, man, that's Ray Lewis, right?
Right.
Now I never met him at that point. Never met him. So I went over to him and kind of hesitated for a little bit. I'm gonna go introduce myself.
Yeah.
So I went. I was, hey Ray, how you doing, man? I'm Kenny Monday, man. Nice to meet you. Big fan. Been watching, following your career, man. Big fan, man. He goes, Kenny Monday, the wrestler Kenny Monday? And I go, yeah. He goes, man, he get up and gave me a big hug. And he goes, dude, you my hero, you my boy. I go, what? He goes, yeah, dude, back when I was in high school, my coach used to show me your videotapes. This was in 1991, right?
Yeah.
And he says, his coach used to show me my videotapes and trying to get me to wrestle like you, right?
Yeah.
And so check this out. I remember I was getting ready for the 92 Olympic trials. So I was deep in the training.
Right.
And living in Stillwater. And I get a call from this coach from Florida. And I remember it. And he goes, man, I got this high school kid. He's a great football player, but man, he can win state this year. We're trying to work with him. I've been showing him your tapes. Can you come to Florida and do a clinic? And kind of work with this kid. And I go, man, I would, but man, I'm deep in the training right now, so I really can't get away. But man, keep showing those tapes, right? And that was Ray Lewis. That was Ray Lewis he was talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, that was Ray Lewis. And so Ray, all that time, of course, been, holding Kenny Monday up as his boy, as his hero, right? And so, yeah, so I was, and then so he told me that story, right? And so after that, we just kind of kept in contact and that whole thing. And so, sorry about that. Yeah, so we just kind of kept in contact through the years. And then this spot thing came up and Ray kind of talked me. He didn't talk me into it, but he's like, Monday, I think this is really, a great thing for you. I think you can kind of, build your legacy. You can, it's a canvas, man. You can build it like you want to build it. And so that's kind of where we are.
What I always respected about Ray Lewis was he always mentioned wrestling. I mean, and he took those principles into wrestling because he used his home life with his dad, which I'm not, putting his business out there because he put it out there. Yeah. But he used that to fuel it, and he beat his dad's record. And he was an animal. But did he have a chance to get a scholarship in wrestling also?
He got some offers. He got offers, but he was playing football. So I don't think he got any major offers. He was a state champ. Coming from Florida, it's not right at that point wasn't a big deal coming out of Florida as a state champ. So,
but he still came back to the wrestling room when he was still with the Ravens. He would come back to be a better tackler. I remember that. I remember watching. Oh, yeah, because he was one of my favorites.
Check this out.
Yeah,
check this out. So that day we met, right? So he was asking me, man, so what are you doing? I told him what I was doing. I go, yeah, my gym is right down the street. He goes, and he had just retired. He goes, man, I miss wrestling. I miss it. I want to get back into it. And I said, well, come down to the gym. He showed up that next week. I told him, come next week because it was on a Friday. He showed up that next Tuesday with his wrestling shoes, right?
Yeah.
And dude, we wrestled for about 30 minutes.
Yes. Hey,
yeah.
Did you whoop his ass?
You know I will. You know that. You know that. But you know what? He trying to get a takedown. Ray was trying to get a takedown now. He was trying to get me. He was trying to get me, man, but I couldn't get that dude a takedown.
Man,
I couldn't give him a takedown.
that's a great story. Did he still
It
have
is.
it? Did he still have it, like his moves and everything?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. I walked away going, man, Ray. And I called my wife, go, shit, man, Ray got some skills.
Nice.
That boy got some skills. No, you could tell. No, he was a wrestler. No, he had some skills for sure. He was trying to get me. Yeah, he got to a leg one time. I'm like, whoa. No, he was trying to get me, man. He's like, damn, boy, you're a bad boy. You still got, you're a bad boy.
Man, that's what I'm talking about, man. When you're a wrestler, you always want to scrap. That scrap is in us, bro. It's always going to be in us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's a great story. Yeah.
That's a great. I'm glad. Yeah, that is a great. I love that. I love that Ray Lewis is part of that. Now, even though it's an academy for the kids in high school, like, do they have to go to school and take like stupid classes like English and all that shit, or can they just?
Well, I don't know about stupid classes, but they definitely take their core classes because it's a prep school, right? So get these kids ready for college, right? So they're really prepping them from college, but it's a good environment because these teachers, the teachers that we have, I mean, they understand that the classes and the whole curriculum is built around the sport.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, it's not like, you try to be, different or, you want sections or anything like that. It's built around the student athlete.
Okay.
Right. Not that they're giving them any exceptions, but they are all about performance. So they don't want to do anything that's going to distract from their performance or their training and that kind of thing. And so everybody's here working together, working in concert. And I was just at that meeting a minute ago, and I had all the students there, all the ball players, all the swimmers. And so I did my little spiel about discipline and what the sport means and the opportunities that we have in this environment, right? So because the plans that they have for Spire is really amazing. It's going to be like kind of like an Olympic Village.
Yeah.
Right. So we're building a hotel.
Wow.
2 hotels on campus. We're building another dorm situation. So right now we've got 7 dorms set up for the boarders, kids that come in boarding school. So it's a boarding school, but then it's also a post-grad facility, academy as well. So kids that aren't quite ready to go to college, they can have that post-grad year to stay here and train, and then to get ready for college, right? So, yeah, it's a really good deal.
Okay, so walk me through a typical day for say a wrestler. Say he gets up, and how does it work as opposed to like regular school, how you get up at 7, then you have your cereal and wait for the bus?
Pretty much it's pretty much the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Your kids get up, they eat breakfast. If you don't have right now, I don't really have a morning practice for them. So I got one kid that's already signed in the academy. So he gets up, he gets to breakfast, at 7:30 to 8:30. Then he has class from 9:30 to 2:30. And then I take him through a strength and conditioning training. Then after that, I'll get him on the mat for about an hour and a half. And so right now, I'm just pretty much preseason training. I'm just trying to build his body. But that's pretty much it. Then after the afternoon practice, then he's got he goes back and relaxes a little bit. Then he's got dinner. Then he's got study hall at 7:30. Mandatory study hall is from 7:30 to 9. So then after that, they go back and have free time, and then they lights out at 10:30.
Man, that is like when you first got the call, when you got the job. I mean, is this something that you really, really wanted, and do you feel that anxiety of something new, and also like a little bit of, oh boy, I can't screw this up?
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. I mean, I'm starting from scratch.
Yeah,
I have no team, so I got to start one by one kid by one family by family. No, it's a challenge. I'm always up for the challenge, and I'm never afraid to take a risk or get out there and do something new.
Right.
And I've coached on all levels, right? And I think one of the biggest reasons that I made that decision, because my boys, Kennedy is graduating. He's pretty much done with college. Quincy's on his way. He's at Princeton. He's got 2 years left. He's in pre-med. My daughter's 27. She's working in New York at Penguin Random House. She's a children's book editor.
Awesome.
So my kids are pretty much raised, right?
Yeah.
And so now, I kind of want to get back and kind of reinvest back into the young kids and get them ready for the next level. And I just told someone, I've been saying this here the last few months, but I think now is the best time in my history to be a wrestler.
Yes.
You look at the performance of our national team, man, and these guys are winning and they're doing really well. They're great ambassadors for the sport. And Jordan Burroughs and David Taylor and Kyle Dake, and these guys are great wrestlers and they're great individuals. They're family people. So I mean, it's really solid at the top. And so they really, anytime that happens, it trickles down.
Yes, of course.
It trickles down.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's funny how you say. I was just gonna get to that. I was gonna segue into that, and you did it for me.
Right.
I was watching, and dare I say this? I might be the treading on shaky waters here, but you think maybe this is the golden age of wrestling, even more so than when you were there, and you guys had a team that was loaded. We've always been loaded, but you think maybe we're better than we've ever been?
I think so, man. I think so. If you look at that team, top to bottom, all of those guys had the ability to win a gold medal. You look at who was our weak spots, right? If you consider the weak spot, but you would say Gilman. Gilman hadn't really won yet. James Green hadn't quite won. Yanni was young, but all those guys are. Gilman won. He's a world champ, right? Green on a good day and a good draw, things work out. Could get there. He was wrestling well. He just kind of made some mistakes at the end. Yanni, we know who Yanni is. I think Jordan Oliver is right there. So the guy that won the world title, that's the guy that Jordan Oliver lost to in the last chance tournament to qualify for the Olympic Games.
Yeah,
that guy won the world title at 70 kilos. Won the world title this year, and we lost to that kid by 1 point. It really should beat the dude. So. No, it's that team is really strong, man. It's really strong. As much as I say that my 88, 92 team was really strong, this team, man, you of course, got Jane Cox, you got Gabe didn't even wrestle, he's a world Olympic champ. That's a strong team, man. And of course you have these guys that won this year. And Gabe, of course, Taylor could have won, but it's a strong team, man. And so I just feel like now with all the technology and all the flow wrestling and all these different track wrestling, all these different platforms that show wrestling.
Right.
So now I can see anybody can see wrestling all over. You can see the best wrestlers in the world right there on your computer, right there on your phone. It's right there for you to get anything you want to get.
Right.
As far as nutrition, as far as training methods, as far as training philosophies, it's right there at your disposal.
And that's why those kids, they just don't realize how good they have it. Growing up, I don't know like you. I just remember my breakthrough mentally. My coach was a hard ass. He really was, and it was great for me. I just remember breaking down one day, and it was one of those days where I was a sophomore. And I was taking I was taking L's.
Right.
I was pulling about 20 pounds a week. I wasn't winning. And just one day, I had it, and I broke. And I ain't gonna lie, I broke. And it was where I expected him to yell at me, but he goes, "It's okay, man." He goes, and it was the weirdest thing. I expected him to, call me a pussy, whatever. He goes, "It's okay." He goes, "You know what? Just take this time off." And I go, "Really?" And I was like, "Really?" Because I had it, man. I was like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest thing ever. But my breakthrough came mentally to me was, and it sounds so simple, was that do you remember a little paper, I forget what the name was, but I was going to wrestle the Southern Regional Championships, and there was a little article in there about mental preparation. And I cut that out and read it before I went there, and I got third place. But I used them, and it's weird to say this, but I'd never used mental like that before, and it worked for me. And I was like, that's it. And now it's so easy for kids. But now, how did you get ready mentally that's why I always wanted to ask you, how did you get ready mentally for a match? Like, did you have music? What was walk me through the thought process in your mind mentally going into a match?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it varied throughout my career, but I think one of the things that made me um, as good as I was just my confidence and my belief system, right? So I learned that early on. That my mom and dad, they instilled that in me very early on in my career, in my life. Like, Kenny, you can be whoever you want to be, right? You can do what you want to do if you believe in yourself. No one should ever believe in you more than you. Not me, not your dad, not your brothers. God may be the only one, but no one should ever believe in you more than you, right? And so they instilled that belief system in me. And so then I don't ever remember wrestling a match, not believing, truly believing that I could win, that I was going to win. Now I didn't win all those matches,
Right.
but you couldn't convince me before the match started that I wasn't winning.
Right. Right.
You just couldn't do it.
Uh-huh.
I just believed. I believed in myself. I believed, right? And so, of course, you got to get the work behind it, and that gives you more confidence, of course. But yeah, man, I just thought the kid was gonna have a bad day, and I beat kids. I won a lot of matches that I wasn't really, supposed to win. Whether the kid would have been wrestling longer, or he was a state champ, or child prodigy in Oklahoma. There was a lot of child prodigies in Oklahoma. We grew up.
Oh my God! Yes.
There's some tough kids, man. I really didn't have to leave Oklahoma growing up.
Yeah, I mean,
we had
the Yanks. Remember the Yanks from East Central?
Yeah, Yanks, Clevengers.
Oh, the Clevenger. I hated those guys. I ain't gonna lie. I hated those guys. The Clevengers. I can honestly say, I mean, I went to school with them, so I can say that. I hated those guys growing up, and they were at Hale.
It was tough, man.
And we were at Muskogee. Yeah. I hated them. They came to our place, and I remember I wrestled Randy.
They wrestled at Whitney Bears, and they wrestled at Whitney, Nimitz, and all them dudes. Yeah. We had some prodigies, man.
Yeah, I hated all of them. I ain't gonna lie, man. The Clevengers.
Yep. David McQuigg. You probably don't remember these guys, but David McQuigg was the national champion OU. Bo Bushyhead. We had some prodigies coming out. One kid that really turned me around. His name was Luke Gilpin, and that was the Gilpin brothers. They wrestled Bishop Kelly and Whiteside. But them Gilpins, man, them dudes were tough, dude. This dude was terrorizing people. He won Tulsa Nationals like 3 times, and he beat me for the first couple times I beat him. He was like another Nate Carr. He was like a Nate Carr. It was Luke Gilpin, and then it was Mike Sheets, and then it was Nate Carr, and then it was Dave Schultz.
Yeah.
But Luke Gilpin was the first dude I had to overcome in the third grade.
He's a third grade terror.
Terrorizing people, man.
How'd you beat him?
With no shame.
How'd you beat him?
No shame.
How'd you beat him?
Huh?
How'd you beat him?
I don't know how to beat him. I just took it to him. I got tired of getting beat. And I believed I could win, right? I believed I could win the first couple of times, but he got me.
Yeah.
And then, but I would just calm myself, man. Of course, we didn't have the headphones and the boom, but we didn't have all that.
Yeah.
But I kept music in my head.
What music? What music? What song? What music? What song? What lyrics?
Man, I was a big James Brown dude, man. I was doing the James Brown stuff. I was
Black and I'm Proud?
Huh?
Was it Black and I'm Proud?
Yeah, Black and I'm Proud. Yep. Get up off of that thing.
Before you wrestle?
Yeah, man. All that. Yeah, James was my dude.
See, that's what I wish I had. That's what I wish I had. Honest, I mean, I think if I would have had those instruments and had the mental, I think I could have had. Well, I think I could have had a better match against Chesbro. That will haunt me to my grave. That will haunt me to my grave. And
I would wrestle a lot of kids, man. I would wrestle a lot of kids that were really better than what they would wrestle, and I could tell they were scared.
Right.
Like once I got to a point where I was, doing a lot of winning, but I would wrestle kids and they would be scared, right? Mm-hmm. Just scared of my name.
Right.
And so they wouldn't wrestle real the first couple of periods, right? I'd be up 8-9 points before they realized that they could wrestle with me, right?
Yeah.
They were just scared. And so finally they scared that period off and they wrestled, and they would do better. I'm like, dude, now you want to wrestle? It's like a minute, it's like 30 seconds left. You died by 10, now you want to wrestle. But them dudes come out scared, man. I could sense that fear.
Yeah.
I can always sense fear. Man, even like today, I got a kid that I'm coaching, I had to go over this with Jordan Oliver, man. He would come to practice and he had some bad days. And I had to sit him down. And this is before the Olympic trials. I'm like, man, you got to get rid of that fear, man. It's coming out of your pores. I could smell it, I could smell it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of who I was, man. I could sense fear. I'm like, man, you got to get rid of that. Get rid of that.
Well, we're animals by nature, and animals do smell fear. I mean, you know that. When you get on the mat, I mean, one of the greatest things ever, and you got to do this sport, or any sport that's man to man, is that when you feel somebody quit. That's one of the greatest feelings ever. When it's tough, when the going gets tough, and you're going and going, and
not
then
for me, man. People say that. That really wasn't me though, because I didn't really want them dudes to quit. I wanted them dudes to compete, right?
Yeah.
And I know how people like, I broke them. And I was never caught up like that. I was never caught up in, I broke the dude and he quit wrestling. That was insulting to me.
Yeah.
That was insulting to me. If you would quit, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Compete. I didn't want you to quit. Like, I had a lot of guys in practice rooms, man, throughout the years, right? And I've raised a lot of guys, and brought a lot of guys up. And taught a lot of guys how to win. My high school team, man, we won 4 state titles. We would have kids that would start wrestling as sophomores and become a state champion by the time they were senior. Booker Paul Parker was a 2-time state champion, never wrestled before in his life, started as a sophomore, won 2 state titles, heavyweight, then went and played football for Barry Switz and started 4 years in a row at OU.
Wow.
And decided he didn't want to go pro. And came back to Tulsa.
Oh my God!
But man, no, I wanted, if the dudes was quit on me in practice, man, I'd make them stay an extra hour until that quit got out of them. No, I wasn't that kind of dude. I wanted you to compete with me until the last second.
How are you going to teach that to your kids? The mental aspect. To me, the physical to me is the easy part. The running, the lifting, the wrestling part. Because I mean, I can get to the physical, but when the physical becomes I can't go anymore, how do you get your kids to tap into that mental? I mean, are you going to have mental coaches? Are you going to have sports psychologists?
We do. We have that here. We do have that here. We do have sports. A mental coach and a performance coach. We have those in place here at Spire Academy. But yeah, man, it's just about that belief system. Yeah. It's about believing in yourself. It's about where's your passion, where's your goals, those kind of things. You break those things down. If you tell me this is what your goals are, and this is what you believe, then everything has got to line up to that. You can't tell me this is who you want to be and then are not willing to do the work to be that person. Yeah. Right. And so those things have got to line up. But yeah, man, I think just getting rid of that fear and that belief system, believing in yourself and the confidence that should never be something that you lose on. And so, yeah, man, that whole quit thing is, I learned that my first year in wrestling. Yeah. Because I saw the result. I saw the progress of just that mentality of not quitting, not giving up, keep believing, keep coming back. So every day I come back to this kid, I'm like, I'm gonna get you today, right? Yeah. There's a smile on my face. I'm gonna get you today. Yeah. You kick my butt again, right? I'll be mad. I come back the next day. You want to go today? You were going today, right? And so I've always been that dude. I've always been a dude that I'm gonna look around. Who's the best? Who's the toughest one in the room? That's who I want. I want you. I want the toughest dude in the room. And that's always been who I was, man. It paid dividends because that's who I went after.
And you're gonna instill that in the kids at the Spire Institute.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how you win, man. Winning is hard. I heard somebody say that, and I've always said winning is hard. People talk about training is hard, man. It's hard, the sacrifice you make and training. Those things are hard. It's never easy. Right. But man, winning, that's what's hard. Winning is hard. Or is because all those things gotta be in concert. Your mental's gotta be on point. The physical has gotta be on my point. I was talking to my wife the other day. We were talking about something. And she said, I heard you say one time that it was 90% mental. And I've never said that because I don't believe it's 90% mental. I've heard the slogan, wrestling is 90% mental or whatever, winning is 90% mental. I think that, they've got to be up there even, right? Because your mental is, but you got to have the physical, right? You got to be in shape.
Right.
You got to be conditioned. Your body's got to be right. Nutrition, you got to do, be smart in your nutrition. All those things got to play a part. But if the physical isn't there, I don't care how much mental you've got. If you ain't in shape, fatigue makes cowards of us all. Right?
Yes. I still use that to this day. And honestly, that was one my coach used to say. And I'm just one of those guys back in the day that it stuck with forever. Fatigues make cowards. And that was, I knew that I wasn't fast. I knew I wasn't quick. I knew I didn't have strength. Right. But I work on my strength. My strength was the longer a match went, the more you're playing into my hands. So if I went overtime, you were done. Because that's what I did. Yeah. I mean, to this day, my mom and dad don't know this, but I was kind of chubby in 8th grade, and I was going to wrestle, and I knew we were getting a new wrestling coach, and he was a runner. He loved to run, and he's played soccer. Yeah, he's played soccer. Right. So I said, you know what? And I remember a coach saying, never be the weak link on the chain. So that summer, and you know how the Oklahoma summers are. That summer, I put all my sweats on. I put my hoodie on, June, July, and August, and I would run. And I would tie it up and run because I didn't want to be the weak link. And I never, ever had school lunch from 9th grade until 9th grade all the way through. I never had a lunch.
What?
I had a lot of my mom. I'd say, what'd you have? I go, what'd you have for lunch? Oh, I forgot, Mom. Because I would just keep that $1 and I keep them because I didn't want to eat. I went and ran. And when I got to high school, for my lunch hour, I would run. And that's how I got in shape. When I was in high school, I'd run during lunch hour or whatever. But that's how I did it. I said I knew if I was going to beat somebody, I had to be in better shape. And that's what I did. And I never had a lunch from 9th grade all the way through.
There's people probably questioning your mental. Look at this dude out here running at 100 degrees with some sweats on. What's wrong with this dude?
Hey, but look where I'm at now. Look where I'm at now. Look where I'm at. I'm interviewing the champ is what I'm doing. I'm interviewing two champs. It's 2 champs. Right. Only one of us has a gold medal, but that's all right. I'm good with that.
That's right. That's right.
But speaking of gold medals, the 6-time medalist, I think gold medal in the Olympics, is actually a woman with Adeline Gray.
Yeah, man. She's a beast, dude.
So she's a beast. What is your take on women in wrestling now? And they got the Iowa implementing a women's program in wrestling. What's your take on that?
We're coming, man. To me, it's kind of like the WNBA. I remember when the WNBA first came, man. They first started playing. I couldn't hardly watch a game. Because the skill level. I mean, just what it was. Skill level wasn't there, right? Yeah. I couldn't watch it. But now I just watched one last night. I just watched my girl win what's her name? Candace Parker. Yeah. Just watched her play last night, dude. And I mean, so the development is just opportunity. Right. So now you give women opportunity. You know what happens when you give women opportunity, man. They run with it, right? Yeah. So now we got one of the strongest teams in the world. I mean, that team is so strong with Sarah and Helen and Adeline, and Miracle. I mean, it's a strong team, man, and they're fun to watch. They're fun to watch, and they got a skill set that's undeniable. And so, I just think the resources became instrumental. Opportunity became instrumental. We got a great coach. Tyler's a great coach. But they're on their way, man. There's no turning back. I mean, it's not a novelty. It's not something that's they are for real. And I don't know how far it'll go. I would imagine it's going to continue to grow and be in NCAA at some point, D1. But that's going to take some time, I think. But man, it's growing, man, in a great way, and I appreciate it.
Now, would you ever want to become an Olympic wrestling coach?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, at some point, if I get the opportunity to do that, I think I applied for that job with USA Wrestling, the Bill guy. They gave it to Zadok. I think just because he was in the system, he was a developmental coach, and they had built those relationships up with him, whatever. And so I mean, I love coaching on all levels. I don't know, my plan is to build this program here at Spire. So I may be here, definitely here for 5 years. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes from here, man. And I'm gonna be in the game until I can't be in the game anymore. But I love coaching on all levels. And like I said, I'm coaching the kid level, high school level, college level, international level. So I've hit all those levels, man. So who knows? I'm gonna do this for 10 years and I might go coach MMA somewhere. So who knows, man?
Well, what makes, on an international level, what makes the Iranians so tough?
Passion, and then the Iranians are probably the most passionate people that I've ever been around.
More than the Russians. More than Russians.
As far as just passion. Look at their fans. And their fan base is, the greatest fan base than ever. It's only, Iowa was probably second best. Iowa, Penn State. But Iowa's got some crazy fans. But the Iranian fans, man, they travel. Dude, I had a match I promoted one time in Tulsa. It was a USA match versus Iranian team. And it was more Iranian fans at the match in Tulsa than American fans.
Wow.
Yeah, we had over 5,000 people at this event in Tulsa that I put on. 3,000 of them was Iranians. In Tulsa, Oklahoma. Wow. I got a good friend that owns a rug dealership in Tulsa, Mac Amini. Amini's Galleria. I don't know if you know what that is. Amini's Galleria is a good friend of mine. He's Iranian.
Yeah. And
so he was one of my sponsors, man. And we put 3,000 Iranian fans in the seats in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wow.
They're passionate. And they got history, man. They've been wrestling forever. They've been wrestling, and it's a big national sport there. When I go there, man, they treat me like a superstar. And I've been there with Burroughs, and they love Burroughs,
Yes.
And
I remember.
Yeah, they're always a little more fond of people of color, So it's really good to get over there. They love wrestlers. They love champions.
Yeah.
They appreciate champions. They really do. And they hold them up in a high regard. Don't you know? Yazdani, he's gonna be probably the president of Iran someday, man. He just sealed his fate.
Yes.
His last win. He didn't win the Olympics, but this last win, he just sealed his fate for the rest of his life, man.
How great!
I love that.
I love. You know what? Quick fire questions, real quick. Quick fire. Where we go? Quick fire questions. The greatest, right now, the greatest American wrestler, international wrestler, not named Burroughs or Stevenson. The greatest international American wrestler, not named Burroughs or Stevenson.
It's on the circuit now.
On the circuit now.
Dakin.
More than Taylor. More than Taylor.
Yeah. They can't never beat Taylor. Taylor ain't never beat Dakin, has he? He ain't never beat that dude.
Oh, you got me there.
Now Dakin's got more skills. He's got more skills than Taylor. Taylor's strong. He's tough. He's legit. But he's got more skills. He'll throw you. He's hard to score on. He's wrestles from all positions. His competition is better. No, I think Dakin's definitely, in my opinion, he's a better wrestler than David Taylor.
Now, did you see that match playing out the way it did when he wrestled Burroughs in the Olympic trials?
I knew if I thought JB would pull it out. I thought he would pull it out. He kind of changed his game a little bit, so I'd be a little more strategic instead of just going to get them dudes.
Yeah.
I think he's waited around trying to play the game. I think you got to go get Dakin, man. You got to go get that dude from the whistle starts. You got to go get him. Can't be waiting around playing that game. So I think he tried to be a little more strategic and instead of just making it a dog fight.
Now, what happened to Dakin in the first round of the Olympics?
That's hard. Who knows, man? I think to me, he didn't recover from weight cut. That's a pretty good cut for him. Mm-hmm. To me, it looked like he just didn't have his legs under him. Mm-hmm. He didn't have the gas. He didn't have, and maybe he was looking past the guy, and the guy took it to him. And but he recovered. And he wrestled better because I didn't know if he could recover and come back and medal.
Yeah.
So that shows a lot of who he is. to take that loss and then come back and take an ass whooping. He got his ass whooped.
He got trucked.
Take that loss and come back and medal was huge. Now Dake's a real deal, man. He's a real deal for sure. He just ain't. He don't have that Olympic title, and we'll see how that plays out going forward. It's not a guarantee. You know that for a fact. So we'll see. Hopefully he's not like Lee Kemp. Lee Kemp, 3-time world champ, never got a Olympic gold. You know, he was good enough, but.
Oh, that one hurts. That one hurts to this day. And then that was all politics. That one hurt, man, to this day.
Yep, for sure.
I remember that shit.
Yeah, that was crazy because when 88 came around, we hadn't had a true Olympic Games since 1976.
Right. Yes.
You know, so that was really big when 88 hit. Everybody was pumped up about it.
Greatest NCAA wrestler right now, not named Spencer Lee or Gable Stevenson.
Yanni.
Who?
Yanni.
Oh, you think so, huh?
Who's better?
Oh, the kid from Virginia Tech. The one that won, beat the guy from Penn State that year at 64, because he beat Martinez. The kid from Penn State beat Martinez. So coming in, he was the champ. He was the defending champion, and the guy from Virginia Tech.
Lewis, you talking about Lewis?
Yes, that's it.
You talking about Lewis?
Yeah.
Lewis ain't got them skills, man. He ain't got. My son wrestled Lewis and Dual Me last year, and really lost to a 4-3. Not that my kid ain't good, but no, he lost to a 4-3, man. He's good, but he's not on that level. He's not on Yanni's. No, he's not on Yanni's level, man. He can't make a world team.
Woo! Those are.
I don't care who's. He can't make he can't make a senior world team.
Wow.
Yanni's the best on that group right now. You got Yanni, you got Fix. You know, Fix is right up in there. Of course, Bravo Young. You got all them Penn State dudes.
Well, what about the dude from Arizona State that got suspended? Is it Zaid?
He's out.
Oh,
he's out.
Really?
Yeah, he's out of school. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's out of school.
Oh.
Zahid. Valencia, you're talking about.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
No, I think Yanni leads that NCAA crew right now. Of course, Gable's back, but I think Yanni, you've got some good kids. You got some good kids. The Penn State kids are good. Aaron is good, and the other kid that beat Iowa kid, couldn't get these kids' name, but no, I think Yanni's the best. I think go Yanni. You got not Gable. You got Yanni. You got Fix, and you've got who else is in there?
How about the 190 guy from Oklahoma State? The dude
AJ Ferrari.
Yeah.
Ferrari.
I want to see him wrestle Gable Stevenson.
He came in. He ain't got enough for Gable. Man. That kid's he's good, but to me, he's not. Again, he's not the Yanni. He don't have that skill set. He's a good kid, but he's not, and he can't do anything with Gable.
What makes Spencer Lee so damn good?
Spencer's just he's a tough dude, man. He's a tough kid. He's very skilled. He's a good freestyler. I think just his upbringing. He had just a great upbringing as far as great coaches. This kid come up, and that's what I think wrestling today is so good because of the club programs that we have. It's kind of revolutionized the sport.
Yeah.
Because now these kids are coming up with good coaches, with good systems, and so they're not learning bad habits. We got to recoach these kids or reprogram these kids. I think he had excellent upbringing, and I think the kid's passion is on point. And he's just a rare dude, man. He's a rare dude. He really is. But I don't think he's the best out there. I don't think he's better than Yanni.
You know what? I want to see him and Gilman go at it. I want to see him.
I don't think he beats Gilman now. Either.
Gilman changed his game and went to Penn State. I think that helped him.
Yeah, it did. Yep, it did. It kind of broadened his mind. It kind of broadened him as an individual. I think he kind of got out of that chip on the shoulder. These guys, these Iowa dudes, got this chip on their shoulder like it's us against the world, and no one can. They don't want to take anybody else's advice or any coaching. It's just really it's crazy. I think they're kind of changing a little bit, but they still kind of got that mentality.
Well,
But I think Gilman has always been very, very tough, very strong, very disciplined, very just a tough dude. I've been knowing that dude since he was, 7 years old, watching him at Tulsa Nationals. But yeah, I think going to which Penn State and Ncaa's got probably the best program in the country.
What makes him so good? What makes him so good?
Well, just the people he has in his program. He's got him. He's got Varner. He's got his brothers. He's got and then the kids that he brings. He's got who else? He's got now he's got Slider, and he's got an incredible room, and they just flat out working people, man. So I think Kale is he's a smart guy. He's a smart wrestler. He's been trained by Bobby Douglas, one of the best coaches in the history of the sport.
Yes, he is.
That dude's mind is just off the charts. I was thinking about him the other day. I went to Bobby Douglas's camp when I was in the 7th grade and learned so much from him. Bobby coached my oldest brother, Michael, was Bobby Douglas's first recruit at Arizona State University.
Wow. So why didn't you go? Why didn't you go?
Well, they didn't really have a good experience with Bobby. Both my brothers went to Arizona State. And then Bobby, he was kind of a young coach, and I think he was trying to show that he wasn't giving the brothers any kind of special treatment, and so he's actually more hard on them. He was harder on those guys, and so they kind of blew him out, right? So they ended up transferring back to OU, and Bobby recruited me, and I'm like, Bobby, I'm not coming to Arizona State, dude. But I did go back after I finished in '84. Bobby called me up. I'm in the office. Right when Joe C got the job. Yeah. Tommy Chesbro got fired my senior year after we get second behind Iowa 2 years in a row. We beat him in a dual meet 2 years in a row. We lost him in the NCAA tournament 2 years in a row. Myron Roddick fires Tommy Chesbro. Who does that? But fired him, brought Joe in. And so Joe got in an accident on his way to Stillwater, and I was there, and I was going to stay there and be a grad assistant. Joe was nowhere. He was in the hospital. And I'm working at the Hall of Fame, and Bobby Douglas called, and I answered the phone. He goes, "Kenny, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to finish school, and I'm going to be a grad assistant and just going to keep training." Because it was '84. Right. So I wanted to train for the Olympic trials and then get on that track. He said, "Why don't you come to Arizona State and be my assistant and work with me, and we can train?" And so I took him up on it, and I went out to Arizona State for a couple of years and worked with Bobby. I
remember that story, man. I remember that. God damn, I remember.
So I was in Arizona, 85, 86, and 87. I came back to Stillwater, and because I couldn't quite get the workouts that I needed in Arizona State, they didn't have the quality of guys there. But they had Eddie Urbano there, which I wrestled in the NCAA tournament. Yeah, ended up being a national title champion. I was with him in '85, and he won a national title. That was his main workout partner, and he won a national title in '85. I won the U.S. Open in '85, got second in '86, third in '87. But then Arizona State won a national title in '88. Arizona State.
Yeah, I remember that, man.
And that was all my guys, man. I worked with them. All those dudes.
I love it because of you. So basically, that was your NCAA title, basically.
Yes, absolutely. I worked with all them cats, man. I recruited Zeke Jones. I was there when Zeke Jones came in on a recruiting trip. I took him around, showed him around, and said, "Man, you need to come here. We're doing some great things." Signed him up, and I left. Went to Arizona State. Went back to Oklahoma State. He was mad. He was mad that I left. But I couldn't get the workouts I needed. I had to get back, and I had to go make that team, man. So I had to get back and get some better workouts at Oklahoma State. So that's what I did. But I was in Arizona State with Bobby for a couple years.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3-time All-American, Olympic gold medalist, and my new bestest buddy. Hopefully one day we'll scrap someday. I'm gonna come up to Ohio.
You need to come, man. You need to come see this facility, man. You need to come,
dude.
Check it out.
Hey, man. Honestly, if I get up there and I'm not in the fall and the winter. I know how Ohio winters are, but I'm gonna bring the bike up. I'm gonna load it up. I'm gonna get some wrestling shoes in there, and we gonna scrap.
Let's go.
We gonna scrap. Guess what we gonna do, bro? But
I ain't never turned down a scrap. Never. Never have I, ever will. Probably never will.
Ain't nothing gets me more pumped up than talking to somebody like you, Kenny. I'm ready to go now, bro. I was ready this morning, and I'm ready now, damn it. Ladies and gentlemen, my new friend and also the head coach for Inspire Institute and Academy, the head coach, Kenny Monday. Kenny, again, man, thanks again for your time. I know you're always busy. I appreciate you. I wish nothing but the best for you. Keep doing what you're doing. Let that trickle down, that championship mentality trickle down. The world needs you. We need you. Our people need you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, my brother.
You. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching Tales from the Gemini. Like I said, DM me, leave comments, whatever. Thank you guys for watching. And like I say about this time, you know the word. Peace.